What did you discover about yourself during your time at Risen Ridge Ministry?
Fears can be overcome, and that's any type of fear. When I started, I actually had a fear of horses, and I didn't really remember that until I actually came here. And like I said, Desi was the one to help me get over that fear. I've also learned that in leadership, it's not always easy to motivate people around you. But with the right skills and the right tools, it's easier to let people be who they are and not allow distractions or anything to deter me from letting God be all that He wants to be in my life.
I discovered that you always trust yourself in things in your lifetime.
Being around animals and like seeing and interacting with them is really nice. I've never been up close with a horse, so seeing and not communicating, but doing stuff with them is really nice.
I think one of the biggest things I discovered about myself while here at Risen Ridge was that I was terrified of making decisions and making just educated guesses on how to do things, that I was so bound up in perfectionism that I had refused to allow myself to discover anything. I was always waiting for instructions, waiting for someone to tell me exactly how to do it so that I knew I wasn't doing it wrong. And here, that was like the last thing anybody was willing to do. So I was just kind of like, either I started discovering and making decisions and exploring on my own, or I stood in the middle with a horse and did nothing for the entire time that I was here. And having that issue forced that I needed to create my own, my own discoveries, my own rules, my own way of doing things started breaking me out of the box of needing to wait for instructions at all times.
I enjoy the people. The people here are great. They really care about you. It's made me think about my spiritual life and just think about myself and how I treat other people.
I wasn't really letting anything go, just holding on to everything.
I discovered a lot of things about myself, and one of the main things in this transition time for me is about who I am in Christ and stepping into the next role. Even though I don't know exactly what it looks like, He does. And throughout these exercises, there were things that were teaching me. I'm bringing you through a transition period. The exercise of being blindfolded and not knowing where you're stepping, that was huge in my heart, because to me it seemed like a very small space that I was walking around in, blindfolded. But when I took the blindfolds off and Jen and Chris told me I'd been all over the whole ring, I was like, that's what God does with us. He lets us see little parts at a time, not the whole picture. And it feels like little small steps, but really He's taking us to a bigger realm than we're able to comprehend at the time.
That it's good to learn to trust people and to follow their commands.
I always felt like for a long time that I had a blockage in my spiritual life somehow, and didn't know exactly what that was. And I learned that blockage was just voices and maybe people's opinions that I heard instead of believing truth. And Eli helped show me that.
Well, I'd always known that I liked writing, but I hadn't really realized how it helped me to relax and kind of settle into it, so I really liked it.
I discovered a mixed bag. Sometimes I display the characteristics of Christ, and sometimes I try to do everything by myself instead of depending upon Him.